Hey, what's up? It's Bon. Let's talk about Mass Effect. Today I'm going to be covering the Final Hours application that came out when Mass Effect 3 dropped. It's got a bunch of really cool info in it, and some of it I think may pertain to the next Mass Effect game. First, if you like Mass Effect, if you like BioWare, if you like video games in general, please subscribe to the channel. I cover all those things pretty often and will continue to do so. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Comment down below with something you liked from it, a thought you may have, or just say hello. It helps the algorithm and helps me get noticed. So let's jump in to this application. Okay, so the first thing here is you won't hear the noise, but here there's music here. And what this is it's supposed to be kind of a retrospective about the development of the third game, of the series in general. It was done by Jeff Keighley, who, if if you pay attention to gaming things right now, he's a big name. He's doing Summer Games Fest, the Game Awards, Gamescom opening night, as well as a bunch of other stuff. This was a little earlier in his career. This was about 10 years ago, a bit more. So what this is an app that you have to download along with a special program that can even open it. I will leave the links down below to where you can get this so you can look at it yourself, because I'm not going to read every line. I actually haven't gone through this with a fine-tooth comb yet, but I just wanted to kind of quickly go through it. And there's one big thing I want to point out that's towards the end of the document. So here you've got, some quotes, talking about, it opens with, and this was Jeff Keighley, his earliest involvement with Mass Effect was when Fox News did a segment on the sexual nature of the first game, and he was on the panel to basically defend it. Now, in hindsight, it's kind of funny that that was so outrageous at the time, because today the sex and nudity in Mass Effect 1 is extremely tame, but you did see it affect 2 and 3. I think that stuff was definitely dialed down a little bit. And then with Andromeda, they went nuts. So I bet the next game, they'll be pretty wild. So I do suggest reading through this yourself when you have a chance. Either pause the video or come back another time and check it out yourself. So this is a little thing on Jeff Keighley. And this starts talking about BioWare. This does talk a bit about like the origins of Mass Effect, about BioWare. It does talk a lot about the past, not just Mass Effect 3, even though it is a lot. And these are interactive elements. Like if I click on these things, this is it's a weird thing. That's why I called it an app. Now you will see that here, like, this should show Jeff's most recent tweet. Well, it doesn't, because the whatever server this app was running connected to online, it has probably been shut down for probably 10 years. So you will see some stuff not working, but it's really, really cool. I highly suggest you check it out. Here's kind of the menu, which I believe you can actually click on the different parts and it will take you to them. And there's a ton of information in here. I highly suspect that if someone went through and read every single thing, watched every single video, I can almost guarantee you would find some information no one else has found before. This bit it talks a lot about Casey Hudson. His ice rink in his backyard. I thought this was funny when it showed BioWare's office in Edmonton. That is just a depressing looking building. So I'd be curious to see what it looks like now, assuming they're even in the same office. This is some of it does look nicer on the inside. This is very like late 2000s, early 2010s, like styling though. I bet it looks a lot more modern these days. So there's a video with Casey Hudson. It shows there. And that is cool. On top of the machine there, it has the active issue. So you hear like Mark Dara talks about this a lot in some of his videos about when they're doing like bug fixing and things like that. So here they have 175 open issues in the game, and they've resolved 576. And it has like a daily created, daily solved, daily closed. So that stuff is really cool. Here you see one of the meetings. If you look closely, you'll notice that some of these faces are very familiar to many of us. There's even like polls and stuff in here. You can vote on them. I have no idea when they were last tallied, but you can get some information. Like if I click on view results here, it will show. I couldn't even, it doesn't say how many votes this is. So I have to imagine whenever this app cut off from online, it probably just kept wherever it was at. So there's that. Just more about their office, more about the development of the game. This whole section is called the beginning of the end. So it's them talking about the development of the final game. We have here, it has a bunch of this stuff too of, you can like interact. I assume these are more polls basically. So like I can click on like Shep. Also, this will let me go through all my choices. So let's say I saved her. Let's say, no, I didn't romance her. Oh, okay. I showed some of this stuff. That is funny. So again, this thing's really cool. And like I said, I will try to remember to leave a link for all of this down at the bottom. This goes into Casey Hudson's history, the history of Mass Effect from the development of Project SFX, which if you're paying attention to the coverage of the next game, it very much, SFX is coming up a lot of these old code words. There is something up here too that talks about Casey where it says similarly, his favorite movie became Top Gun. He says he's seen it 300 times. Goodness gracious. So only recently did Casey Hudson post on Twitter that someone pointed out that the opening of Mass Effect 1 is similar to the opening of Top Gun. And so that's kind of a fun little thing to notice there. And then it has the timeline coming all the way up to Mass Effect 3. Now here we start getting into, there's a ton of concept art and stuff in here. So this is the concept art for the Asari. And you can kind of see that what they evolved into. There's talks about that. It covers other people as well here. Again, some of these names will be familiar. Some of these people are still around, but not very many. It talks about Baldur's Gate, some of the earlier BioWare games. Let's see here. And we got some more polls, some more of this stuff. Codename, this is, Mass Effect 1, and to talk about that, a lot of you have seen probably this document that's over here on the left. That was kind of the original idea for Mass Effect. You can tell how early it was because this was being designed for the Xbox 360, and at the time, if you look down here closely, it says Xbox 2. So that's kind of cool. We go over here. I believe these are the Quarians. So this is some of the original idea for the Quarians. And what's interesting is by the time you here, you see some inspiration for the Turians in their kind of collar. If you keep going, this is obviously inspiration for the Volus. So they didn't completely give up these ideas. And then you see this, it's pretty famous, that face in the bottom left. You see a lot of artists using that face even today, even though we have a canon face for Tali now. They still, people still want her to look a little more alien. So it is kind of interesting seeing people still kind of stick to that concept. You see some of the concepts for like their body shapes and their armor and stuff like that. And then you see something closer to what we actually ended up getting. Some really cool concept art. I love concept art for games. I always think it's so cool. Here we have, a portrait of Saren in his robes, which you never actually saw in the first game, but there's a mod that adds them, and I'm playing that mod right now. It's super cool. I highly suggest it if you're playing on PC to do the mod where it shows Saren not Reaper-fied, and then he slowly gets more so through the game. It's really, really cool. You see some of the original concept art for the armor and the spacesuits there. There's a lot here. I will probably maybe break some of this stuff down into smaller bits and do individual videos on it. But this one, I just kind of wanted to show people this kind of stuff. So this is concept art for the Krogan. I don't hate, I love this design. It looks like the Predator from the Predator and Alien movies. And so I love the Krogan that we got, but I also think that these wouldn't have been the worst in the world. So we have more stuff here, the robot voice. If anyone's ever seen this video, I'm not going to play it because it's terrifying. But it was where they were trying to reproduce human voice. It's mortifying, but they used it as some kind of inspiration. You have some stuff here about the music. There's some early prototype footage here. So if you go through here, you see what the earliest versions of Mass Effect 1 looked like. Obviously very different than what we ended up getting. There's the announcement trailer there. Here's some of the concept art for the Geth. They didn't stray that far from it, to be totally honest. Here's the original art for Shepard. This was the not iconic Vanderloo face, but not entirely different. There's a who's who thing where you can click through each of the big characters in Mass Effect 3. Not 100% sure why Saren's in there, but there they are. I actually really love this art. I wish I could find this separately. I think it's just really, really cool. And then it goes through here, and these are interactive elements. So you can scroll over Shep and you can, see the model all the way around. Again, 10 plus years ago, this would have been really cool. Today, it maybe isn't as exciting. Parrish Lay here, who I believe was the head of the cinematics, which is, they directed cinematics. Parrish Lay is still with BioWare and is on the next Mass Effect game. So if you're worried about OGs being on the next game, you really shouldn't be, because they're here. There's Mac Walters. Obviously, we know he just retired, and I bet he's going to start his own studio. Wink. We got Ashley that you can look at her whole model. There's from the original vision that Shepard gets. He points out that Casey filmed all of those little clips in his basement. And we just have more talk here. Again, I highly suggest people come through, read through all this stuff. You see some concept art of Shep and Liara there. We see Mark Meer right here in his bare-chested self, as well as Caroline, who worked for BioWare. Some more stuff here. There's Liara. We have some concept art for the Elusive Man, which almost none of it looks like what we actually got, but here we are. This one's really cool. It's kind of a timeline of Mass Effect 2. Their very most basic ideas of how that game was going to go, and it seems like it mostly stuck to that for the most part. We have some more info here. Information talking about, talking about the SR2 and the development of that. You can do some stuff here with saying who survived your playthrough. Some talk about the final development of Mass Effect 3. This is really cool. I'll click on this quickly. This is a game that was based off of Battlefield that they were making, that was going to be a first-person shooter, like Battlefield style game with Mass Effect. This would have been so amazing. I'm genuinely sad this didn't happen, because especially nowadays, I would be all over that. Here's some more screenshots from that. Here's some concept art. I think this would have been so cool. It's really a bummer they didn't go forward with that. We have more talk here about the development, the people involved. Here's a shot of the team from back in the day. This is really interesting. It's all of the beats in Mass Effect 3. So it was labeled spoilers because obviously this got released, I believe, right after the game did. So in theory, you could ruin it for yourself. It's also worth remembering that the entire script for the game got released, got leaked early. And so I don't think it had all of the details, but it had a lot of them. And so some of this stuff wasn't an entirely huge mystery. And then here they talk about the choices. It starts talking about how things end. We have a good old Morden there. They talk about the consequences and things like that, and then I believe this talks about the delay and how it got delayed from, I think, 2011 to 12. Some more concept art. This was originally the final encounter with the Elusive Man was supposed to be a boss battle, and this was potentially going to be the or the Reaper-fied version of the Elusive Man that you would have fought. Personally, I think they probably should have done that, but is what it is. Some more information here, and I think I'm about to get to so this is getting before the release, getting to the end, talking about kind of the how the thing worked out. Some of the borderline kind of creepy art for Edie. I absolutely still to this day think that they should have made this her model. Even though I know she was like the doctor who tries to kill your team, I still think that this should have been like the default model for Edie, instead of whatever this all was. But hey, to each their own. There's some more music stuff here, and then this is something I think is really interesting. It's the Shepard Alive. So this specifically talks about how just kind of going through the process of how the game would end, and I highly suggest people go through this and read it and really check it out. I want to do a video just on this. Even though there's when I've gone through this, there's nothing that like stands out as like, oh my god, we didn't know this before. It's just cool. So then there's some more concept art, and this is where it kind of starts to wrap up. Again, I will leave links down below for how to get this. I really highly suggest you check this out if you're a Mass Effect fan. I had never heard of this, and I think it was really informative and fun to check out, and I hope that you enjoyed kind of watching it with me. So let me know what you think. If there's anything in there that you want me to make a video about or anything like that, I'm more than happy to. There is a lot of information to go through in there, probably nothing completely mind-breaking or mind-blowing, but still worth looking at, and I hope to make more content about it. So that's what I have for this one. Subscribe, hit the buttons, follow the places. I have links down below to all of my content, and that's all I have for this one. So until next time.